Thank you.
Well, what I think is going to be the last of this great series called the Legacy Series. It's a playlist on Bishop Tom Benjamin's YouTube channel. Hey, guys, my lifelong friend, Bishop Tom Benjamin. Hello.
Hey, Roger.
I remember when T.D. Jakes came to Indianapolis in 96 at your ordination, and, you know, you have been cross the streams so many. I mean, some of your sons and daughters are not disciples of Christ. They might be Baptist or Methodist. And so here's powerhouse T.D. Jakes coming in to lay hands on you for that ordination. I'll never forget what you said to me, because I was not really under you, or, you know, I wasn't like a member of your congregation. But you said to me as a friend, you said, look, now that I'm getting ready to be ordained bishop, you know, I want you to address me differently. You can't just call me Dutch and Dutch. I want you to call me Tommy. That was so fun and funny, and just very much you. So tell us what happened during that bishop ordination and how that refined your vision.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, you know, where there is no vision, right? The people, one translation says, run wild. So the key is hearing the voice of God, and hearing the voice of God. That is something that I think which should guide every person, but you have to have a relationship with God in order to hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will disagree with some of the decisions that you make, but you don't have to worry about that disagreement as long as you are on the mark with hearing his voice. That's a training program. So when I saw such a tremendous upsurge of people wanting to do ministry in a formal way, I mean, people wanting to be pastors and wanting to be clinicians and wanting to be, you know, all of the area of the fivefold ministry of the church coming up in my ministry all of a sudden, I said, there has to be a way that I can show covering to them that makes them look up rather than straight at me, but kind of look up as a covering. Now, my thing about the whole thing of bishop and pastor and all, you know, in the disciples of Christ, you don't really have bishops. I'm talking about now the denomination. And in some ways, I crossed the line for them. That kind of bothered them a little, because but what they have forgotten, which I have to keep reminding them, is that no book but the Bible. Come on now. Are you talking about a term that is outside of the Bible? No, that's inside the Bible. Well, so what's wrong with the Bible? What's wrong with a pastor, a deacon, you know, a bishop? You know, now you can define it any way you want. So I went through all of that, and it didn't really matter what other people thought. So I had a relationship, as you said, cross denominational lines with so many different people that was a ecumenical ordination, if you will, or consecration that took place at the convention center downtown, and Jakes was one of many. You know.
So how does that play into, as you're moving towards your transitioning towards sort of the end of your tenure there?
Yeah, well, you got to know when to hold and you got to know when to fold. See that's
great.
That is how. Again, that's the voice of God. See, I could be pastoring Light of the World right now. If I mean, in terms of my health and strength, I'm still, you know, I'm aging, but I'm not done. You know, if you're not dead, you're not done. But the issue is, do you hear the voice of God? When I heard the voice of God say, it is time for you to release this assignment so that you can allow this church to grow, even beyond what you have done up to this point. You need to release it to a younger person who can naturally and spiritually draw younger people so that the church has a future. I mean,
you were what age? What age were you when you retired from the church?
I was 70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 70.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm the president of the Octogenarian Club. And, and I'm now, thank God, I'm 80 and will be 81 March 26th, the Lord willing, and the creek does not rise.
Mm.
Yeah,
so how does it feel to be retired? I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. You are in, and I'm not retired, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing, YouTube creator and more. But you are in the desert. How did you end up there?
My middle son, Channing, is a golf. He's a golf instructor, but more than that, he's a golf photographer, and really has become one of the most prominent golf photographers in the country, and one of the few people of color who he does drone photography of golf courses all over the world. It's crazy. Yeah. And then he sells the pictures back to the clubs. So he's living his dream. But he has 2 children, and that makes me have those 2 grandchildren. I actually have 4 grandchildren, but 2 on the West Coast, 2 on the East Coast. So that's what really we said that's our next assignment after Light of the World. Our next assignment was to provide a spiritual covering for our grandchildren and for our children out here. So that's that. And then once we got out here, our son Chris in Atlanta, he got married, and then he started having children. So now we're kind of caught. They're out way over there. We're out here, but they got out here, a couple months ago, and we got a chance to hold the children. And
What are your 2 other sons? So one son is the golf videographer. What do the other 2 sons do?
The youngest son is a senior vice president of Truist Bank right now, in Atlanta, which is one of the big southeastern banks, and he's done very, very well. Both he and Benji, the older one, they're both Morehouse graduates. Channing, the videographer, is actually Indiana Wesleyan. But the thing that I wanted to say is that they were groomed. All of them groomed.
Now interesting. A lot of times, a pastor would want his sons to grow up and be a pastor too. What was you and?
I did, but I didn't force it, because here's what I figured out about life: follow your passion. Your passion, not what somebody tells you to do, but what is it that you love doing? That if you weren't even going to be paid, that you would do anyway. And it's also an issue for me, I think, as Smokey Robinson used to say, follow the tracks of your own tears. That where you have hurt the most. See, you notice that every book is about the children, basically, and about, this was my pain predicament, Roger. This is what I was able to overcome by the blood of Jesus Christ. Yeah. And so everything that I have done in one way or another has related to my pain predicament. And I followed the tracks of my own tears. So the Respect Academy came that way. Boys to Men came that way. The Home Alone Syndrome came that way. All of that came that way. The security ministry came that way. We called it the Brotherhood first, and now it's the Men of Discipline. And all of that was here was little Tommy being raised by a single parent grandmother. What can I do with my life that will make a difference for the little Tommies of the world? That's where all of this really comes from. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That was powerful. That was powerful.
Well, it's called, and it's called, we're back to reproduction, I mean, my greatest legacy are my natural children first,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then the children that I have birthed in the gospel. But my natural children give me such great joy. Man, I've got 3 boys, and you got to know, raising boys, I was once one, is a little different than girls, okay? So we talk about the difference, but here's what I want to get to you. You'll love this because you're a man of God, man. Do you know that my oldest son is a sheriff? He's a policeman with the Marion County Deputy. He's Marion County Sheriff Department. He's a SWAT team member.
Hmm.
I wouldn't. I wanted him to follow me.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's not his heart is wonderful, but this is what he likes. He enjoys this.
Yeah.
And it took him, I might say for those of you out there listening, it's never too late to be great. He's done a lot of things. He sold real estate like you did. He's run senior life centers. And I didn't say much about that, but we established 2 of those, one in the name of my grandmother and Reverend Peoples, called the Jackson Peoples, one on the east side. Then there's one next to the church on Michigan Road. I'm talking about senior life centers, called the Dr. T. Garrett Benjamin Jr., Bishop Benjamin Jr., whatever it is, senior living center. But he ran those for a while, but he finally got into his passion. And I can't tell you how important it is for people to pursue their passion. And so,
Tom, I just got to pull this out of you now, because you had 3 sons and a wife, a mother to those boys. How did you balance the ministry and the family balance and keep those boys where they were engaged, and so many become bitter and angry, and you have a whole family?
Well, my kids are not perfect. We had challenges along the way. Okay. But I had, remember I mentioned to you in an earlier part of this series, make sure that you marry up, and make sure you get somebody who
she'll make you or break you. She'll make you or break you.
Yeah, I said they'll make you or break you, and who can stand in the gap, because there was a gap between me working 17 hours a day and my wife. There was a gap between me covering the children. I mean, I have some regrets. I could have done, it seems to me, I could have done more, but she stood in the gap, and she did what was necessary. And so those boys, do you know something that you would love this, because it's you? Do you know that those boys, one of them is, they're in each generation, but in their 40s and 50s. Do you know I have never heard them ever use a profane word, a cuss word? I have never. Now, they've heard me, but I've never heard them. I just think there's something about that kind of strikes me. It's very interesting. I'm weak, and if you push me the wrong way in traffic or some kind of weird something, I mean, that's not my normal stuff, but I'm saying I too, but I've never heard them say ever anything off color. Now, to me, that is special.
Yeah, it is special.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, this has been so much fun, going all the way back from when you were 5 years old, and jumping into your grandmother's arms, and she said, what'd she say?
How's mama's boy?
All the way to now retirement and you enjoying this season of your life. It's been such an honor to chronicle this in this legacy series. And if you're watching, you caught this is on Bishop Tom Benjamin's YouTube channel. He'd like you to subscribe. He's got some segments, teaching moments called Miracle Moments, and hopefully more and more content to come. But Tom, just in closing, I shouldn't say that to a preacher. In closing,
well, no, because we've got one more to do, and then we don't know. Yeah, that's really about what. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Are you getting weary, Roger? Are you getting weary?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, but I just want you to know that I love my boys so much. They have made me so proud, and Beverly and I just can't thank God enough for helping us to raise three. They're not perfect, but man, they're good though, and they're good.
I can see them. I can see them after your demise among themselves saying, "Which of us was he talking about when he said they're not perfect? It was you, wasn't it? No, it was you."
Yeah, right. Well, as we close this series, we've got to talk about one other thing, and that is the mechanics of pastoral transition and the challenges, the changes, and the hurts and the helps. And hopefully we'll be able to say we've at least given a good run on this series.
What, is there a way you could do that right now?
No, I would rather do that as a separate, only because we have to learn today that you can't go. See, when you look at your watch, it means
I know, dude. You bought the 10 video package on this for $0. That's what you bought. Now you're at the end of it.
Hey, it's so funny. Yeah. Well, let's make sure we do this. We finish correctly. Okay. So we've got one more to go, and thank God for you.
I'm going to make you late for your golf game. I'm going to make you late.
Roger. Thank God for you. You heard, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this young man heard the voice of God. Now, we didn't talk always every day, every week, but he's in my heart and I'm in his. Every black man.
Here we go.
Needs a good white boy.
That would be me.
But he's the one that told me that, so I feel free to say it. But he has he's kept up with me over the years, and this is a God thing, because if you think about it, Roger, we didn't plan it.
Right.
You called me, we talked, and here we are. So I'm so thankful to you, and I want to thank God for Roger Holloway and Patty, and what's the doggy's name?
Oh, Jack, the real estate dog.
Yeah, the real
Google
estate.
that.
Yeah, the real estate dog. So,
what's cool about it is everybody's got a story. I started mine a few years ago at RogerHollowayStory.com, putting people like you on there and others from my past and kind of chronicling the years. And so here we are. And nobody can tell your story like you, brother. So that's good stuff.
No.
So we will see you in the next video.
Okay, buddy.
We'll get around to it in the next year or so.
No, we're gonna get this over with. we put a lot of time in this. We're about at the end.
So stand by.
I'll
see you in the next video.
Okay, buddy.
Peace.
And hair grease.